Big ups to your dad. Oh my God, what's the new ridiculous thing that Darkside Phil did in his gameplay today? I can't wait to get to the channel and see. You know what I mean? That's one of the running things I had going, you know? How do I top what I did yesterday today with something else stupid that I said? I can't go back in time and change what I did. All I can say today is I'm a different guy today, and I'm sorry for how I behaved in the past, because I look back now and I cringe at how bad it was, right?
Business releasing, and I do still have it.
It's WWE Champion time.
Go, 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 go. It's the money, stupid fuck. I love it. Go, 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 go. By eBay. Hell! It's been tough. I always think that it's my fault. Drinking gin. Yep, I'm toxic. I love Hulk Hogan's dick. My ass is so fucking stretched. Oh, no, you didn't, you motherfucking piece of shit cocksucker. Mark my fucking words. I'm coming for you.
For now?
Go, 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 go. It's the money, stupid fuck. What? I love it. Go, 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 go. What? By eBay. Hell! Hateful slurs. Lame brain pieces of dumb fucking hateful slurs.
Why am I toxic?
I love it.
Mr. Brunel, you there?
I am Chris.
Right, I understand. He's claiming that he's got $5,000 a month in expenses and only $5,000 a month in income, and net's about $35.
Banned. Gone. Forever. Why do I say I'm not a children's entertainer? Because I'm not a Muppet. I'm not here to play a character. I'm not here to pretend that I'm something that I'm not. I don't dye my hair. I don't act stupidly constantly to get attention from children. I don't do stupid pranks. You know what I mean? I don't cause drama. I'm here just to play games and have fun. I'm a legitimate gamer. Big ups to your dad.
I need banana, tasty banana. Put banana in my mouth, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. Please the peel it comes in there. Put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth.
Act and talk a certain way with certain mannerisms, certain over-the-top reactions, screaming at the top of their lungs, jumping, flailing, doing weird things, constantly on camera.
I need banana, tasty banana. Put banana in my mouth, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. Please the peel it comes in there. Put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth. banana. Put banana in my mouth. I need banana, tasty banana. Put banana in my mouth, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. Please the peel it comes in there. Put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth.
When we hit the 250 vest streak for that celebration, I'm going to debut a new vest. There we go. Celebratory bubble blow. Very nice. There's bubbles everywhere. There's bubbles all over my PlayStation 4 controller. There's bubbles on my microphone stand. There's bubbles everywhere tonight.
Now, what does the sugar do in the sauce?
Adds sweetness, adds a contrast. If you don't, it's all going to be tartness, and you won't have any
It's going
kind
to be
of sweetness
acidity
to
from
the sauce.
tomatoes.
Right, you'll have
And then
tart
spice.
part and its acid and nothing else. All right. So now we got to stir all that in, and then we add our final ingredients, and then the meat.
This one's for all my baby girls.
Italian wife. Italian wife. Italian bills. Italian dark side flip. Italian wife. Italian wife. Italian chill. Italian can't give her a pill. I'm half kind of European mix. European side.
Hello, everyone. We are here for what should be an epic one for the ages here. We always think every one of our shows is very important, but this has the possibility of shaking the very foundations of this earth that we all live on and we all share. It's not just because I'm here. I'm just a small part of this. I am but a peon surrounded by legends on all sides. And first, let me get to our regular co-host, Fantastic Mr. Sam, the registered DDS. How you feeling for this one, Sam?
I'd be lying if I said I'm not a little bit nervous, but I'm hoping these guys can just talk for 2 hours and we'll just listen. You know?
Yes. We are here to hear from two legendary voices of both present and past and future FGC life, fighting game community, such a big part of gaming today, obviously, and even more so back then, I think. And we are joined by two legends to help get us through that. So let me introduce them rightfully here. So first, I'm going to start with the man below me on the screen here. What I consider to be a visionary, revolutionary, someone that started a radio show. Before that was just a cool thing to do, right? Now everyone has podcasts about every topic in the world. But this man put a radio show consistently on, you know, and this is times when Bunkei, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you're making hundreds and hundreds of dollars from your uploads. You were doing it for the love of the game, to share your knowledge, to talk to people in the community. Bunkei, how you feeling today?
I'm doing great. It's great to be on.
Was I correct in that assumptions of your show? It was more of a labor of love, right? It wasn't exactly paying many bills, right? Back then.
True. I never made a penny off of it.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the intention. My intention was to really try to bring the feel of, you know, not everyone lives in a neighborhood that has a ripe FGC scene, and I was trying to transmit some of that to places where there is no active scene. One of my favorite episodes was covering Evo 2006, and I remember people being absolutely just jumped up for joy when Vaya beat Daigo in AE, and he beat him again in Third Strike. And because Vaya was coming on, he's like, "Hey man, we're paying too much, homage to these Japanese. They put on pants one leg at a time, just like we do. We just need to go in there and handle business." And that's exactly what he did. So it just took off from there.
It's like when Rocky was fighting Drago, right? He's like, he's not a machine. He's human. You can make him bleed. You can hurt him.
Awesome, man. And as someone that also runs a podcast before this one, I know it's a lot of work to put that on. And that's what I respect the hell out of you, man, for putting that on just for the community. And that's an awesome thing you did. I don't want the history books to forget that, because that's an awesome part of the FGC for sure.
And anybody could have called on to it. Don't mean to interrupt you, but anybody could have called on to it. He had the number open, would have anybody call. So it didn't have to be only Triforce, only, people that were popular or known in the community. Like anybody could call in and chime in. It wasn't really about the cloud either back then.
Nope, and we're going to talk about that show a lot and some of the talks I heard on that for sure. And before we get to that, let's talk to the man to the diagonal bottom of me. An OG for sure. A man you've heard. If you anyone in the detractor sphere I know has heard this man before. So many stories. He was there for so many stories that we're going to talk about today. The legendary, what I consider to be the opposite of DSP in almost every single possible way. He's an actual father. He actually takes care of his body. He's extremely respectful of every interaction I've ever had with this man. Jaha, how you feeling today?
Great, man. Thank you for having me on, dude.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you
is
for having
awesome.
me on, everybody.
And I want to make sure we get credit for, Jaha's always ready to help with this kind of stuff and always ready to give me time. We're just idiots on the internet, but Jaha makes us feel like we're putting on an important show. And I really respect your help for that, my friend.
Well, it's just a reflection of how you are,
Mm.
I mean, for the most part, you can kind of see, like you're trying to get in contact with somebody. I just reach out like, hey, what's up with this guy? And people, they reciprocate that, you're good out to people and, you have a good reputation because you're cool with everybody. You can always come to them and then they'll like, hey, no problem, anytime, so I think you kind of sense that from like kind of the connections that I share with you.
Awesome. Yeah, I really respect that. And I see some people becoming members and stuff. Thanks so much for that. We're going to kind of brush over that today. We're not going to like shout out too many people. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. So I hope you all respect that. Everything's appreciated, of course, but we're going to kind of try to get this show as tight as possible, cover as many stories as we can. So thanks so much for your support. We're not going to shout it out today. Like Phil likes to say, no shout outs today, but we're going to respect you. Nonetheless, you are all legends. So let's get down to the business here. Before we do that, though, I have a little game to kind of break the ice with our guests. And Sam, of course, you're playing as well. I found 4 words, and I want you to tell me which of these 4 words has Phil said the most in his streaming career. Okay? You got to guess which of these 4 words he said the most. Here we go. The words are disheartened. The first one, disheartened, depressed, suicidal, and alcoholic. I'll read it one more time before. Alcoholic, suicidal, depressed, or disheartened. Phil has said all these words multiple times, 100 times at least for all of them. I'll spoil that. Which of these has he said the most? Sam, you are the registered expert of this game. I'll go to you first.
I want to say disheartened because it's one of them that keeps cropping up, especially nowadays. I'm going to say depressed though, because it's kind of I think it's a bit more of a general word.
Okay, depressed. Sam says depressed. Bunkei, let's go to you next.
Goodness gracious, I want to say disheartened because that's the least evil of the 4 words, because suicidal. That's some strong words, man.
Okay, I respect that.
I want to say disheartened, but
Okay. And Jaha, you're last, my friend.
I gotta go with disheartened, man. I'm looking at my subscribers go down. I'm looking at my tips over here, and I feel disheartened. So yeah, I gotta go with that. Being that the man begs for 2 shifts a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah. And looks like Sam was correct this time, though. It was actually depressed. I think it's such a common word. He probably has used in other cases as well. Chat, it looks like we got a lot of depressed, a lot of disheartens. But yeah, actually, depressed was the most. I think it's such a general word. That is it.
Meerkat got it right as well.
Meerkat, you're a legend. And Meerkat, we should say, I feel a little under the weather today, unfortunately. Probably might have COVID. Going to get a test taken today. We're all been sick this week. We're trying to go fight through it, but Meerkat's a legend, and he made the song for this week and the thumbnail for this week. So awesome stuff from Meerkat, as always. Now it's time to get in there. And guess, before we start, Jaha and Bunkei, I want to make a little promise here. We are here for your experiences, what you observed, your memories. We want no embellishments. We want nothing taken out of context. We want the exact truth. Nothing more, nothing less. If you don't remember something, I don't remember is a totally fine answer, my friends. But we want to make sure we get the truth out there. Is that cool with you guys?
Yeah, 100%.
No, I know you were going to do that anyway, but I just want to get that out there for the recording.
Yeah, we got to make sure we do that, Bunkei, because Phil, he's gonna watch this and he's gonna say it's all bullshit, it's all lies, they're sick in the head, they're crazy people. You know what I mean? So that's why I fact checked and I dug up some stuff I forgot about, but yeah, I got receipts on everything.
Yep. That's what we're here for. And let's get started here. So I want to start with a question for your guests here and kind of want to learn about that time back then. So I want to start with you, Jaha. What kind of, let's talk early 2000s. Give us a little picture of how big the fighting game community was at this point, right? What's the feeling like at that time?
Yeah, so there's like a whole era, like the whole Marvel 2 era, right? Bunkei from like Marvel 2, Third Strike. So you got to think like from 2000 all the way up to 2010, 2009 when Street Fighter 4, Marvel 3 broke out, right? So a whole 10-year era where the two big games are Marvel 2 and Third Strike. Those are the two biggest games. Evo was, the Cannon Brothers trying to find a venue, and it'll be in a range of like 300 to 500 people, and it was the biggest event, every year. We didn't have all these other majors all over the year. Evo was like the one big event that we had every year.
Mhm.
So that was going on for like a 10-year span.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully that answers your
Yeah,
question.
yeah. How about like when, like, okay, arcades at this time, right? We always hear about arcades being a big deal. Is this where most of the practice took place for the top level guys? Is going to be going to arcade or at home?
100%,
Okay.
100%. So every region, of course, California had more big arcades. Not every region had an arcade or whatnot. But Southern Hills Golfland was the big arcade in Southern California. There was a Sunnyvale Golfland that was Northern California, and the first tournament was like B5 that I went to in '99. And we still used arcades, and it was such a logistics nightmare because they had to, get all these arcade cabinets that they had in an arcade, but then they needed more CVS2 cabinets, more Third Strike cabinets, ST cabinets, Marvel 2 cabinets. They needed the whole place just filled with those cabinets. Arcade is filled with all different types of machines, so they had to borrow arcade machines from other regions. Cigar Bob, he had a cabinet. He'll bring his cabinet up from Arizona. Guys from Southern California and the Southern Hills Golf, and they'll borrow those cabinets, throw them in a truck, drive them up. It was a logistics nightmare. So that's why when they that was the last B5, and the next year was the first Evo,
Mhm.
and it was them evoluting to all console. So it was all console. So that's where there was some
Funny business.
translation from arcade perfect version of ST to the first console versions, which were
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
fucking Neo Geo versions, where like there was shit in the game that was never in there that didn't work. And that's
Yeah.
how fucking Phil made his run, was able to upset giants. Like these guys, were the gods. Like there was nobody that could touch them at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
In
I want
any
to talk about
game.
that real quick. Let me get Bunkei in here. Bunkei in here. So I want to know, like, back then, were there already these gods already set up? Was Mike Watson already this woo figure, or when did he kind of become, Enchoi and Valle? When did they kind of become this kind of deities that they kind of are seen as now?
Yeah, they would. I mean, this is what people would describe as the golden era,
Okay.
because yes, this they were the best of the best, and I was again. I'm very fortunate that where Alphas and Radio started was right in the middle of the heyday,
Okay.
in the get because this is a good 2 years before Street Fighter 4, right? So
Mhm.
we had none of that yet. So which was its own thing, So yeah, we're right there because Alex Valle was my first uh guest of any notoriety,
Wow.
which was great because he's the U.S. Street Fighter champion. So I couldn't ask for a better guest than Alex Valle, and I loved how the way he thought. I mean, that was one of my first few episodes. Is really him chronicling how he got to where he got, and that
Awesome.
was really fun talking to him and understanding his mindset. And again, going into that Evo, United States had a really bad record against the Japanese competition. He's like, enough with that. Stop with stop gaggling on their what, and just go out there and do your thing, and you'll be surprised what you'll accomplish. And
Awesome.
he lived that. He went in there and beat Daigo in two separate games. And of course, this is when Daigo. This is going into. And this is only a couple years removed for the Evolution 37 moment, right?
Yeah, yeah. Everyone
So I
knows that
mean,
one.
so yeah, I mean, so that was an absolutely golden time in my era, in my mind for the fighting game community.
Awesome. Awesome. And I got to know, like, West Coast, East Coast stuff. I mean, we hear about this when I listen to the replays of your show and other. Is that a real thing? Is there like kind of like this the
Oh
camps
yeah,
building preparation there?
Absolutely.
it was definitely will, but the difference is that um it wasn't manufactured. In, in
Okay.
today's in today's world, a lot of this beef is manufactured. This was real a rivalry. And the thing about it though is that even though it was a real rivalry, no one got shot, no one got stabbed, none of that. They kept it in the game. I mean,
Okay.
so I mean that's why. And again, one of the things I loved about that period of time, yes, there was real rivalry between the West Coast and the East Coast, and some of that came to head on the show, and it was great. It was absolutely pure gold.
And when you say
Was
like
it?
nobody got shot or beat up, he's saying that because these guys, when they would talk shit to each other, it's on a different level. Like it's not allowed anymore. So you could be sitting here, you're playing, right? And you drop a combo, and it's a very difficult game. You have somebody literally right here screaming, you suck, you drop your combo, you suck,
Right.
Like they would talk, like they took shit talking to the highest level,
And that's why you're
and
playing, right? So you're at the cab and there's someone yelling in your ear. And I know someone like you, I mean, you might, back then, I'm sure it's a shorter fuse than you have even now, right, Jaha?
they wouldn't do it to me. They wouldn't do it to me because
So
I
that's
would
kinda
lose
smart,
it. I
yeah.
would lose it. I would
Yeah,
lose it
yeah.
in a snap. But it was that intense back then. It was very
Was it?
intense.
Was it
Go ahead, man.
rivalries between particular people, or was it just you're from the West Coast and you're from the East Coast, so we immediately don't like each other, or was it
It
was
was
it
a
like
both.
It was like
yeah,
clubs. I would say
right,
like clubs is the best way to describe it because you had Southern California, West Coast, East Coast was like the Northeast, like so New York. So there was all these top gamers coming out of New York playing, Justin Wong, Sanford, Yipes, Executioner, and they
Yeah.
had this whole group, and they were the visiting team. We were the home team,
right.
and they would fly out to Vegas to the West Coast, and and they
Yeah.
would show us. So it was intense, man, and it
Awesome.
was definitely fun.
It sounds cool. I mean, that time, it's hard to imagine now, because everything's just online, everything. But back then, it wasn't that as much. You had to really show up and show yourself, show your skills. And I want to talk about that. When you did this trash talking, there was obviously an IRC chat component to that. And was the chat there constructive at all? Was it like, let's try to make ourselves better at the game, or was it just like, you suck, you suck? Was it just all combative conversations on the IRC chat?
I wouldn't say it is Bunky. I wouldn't say it was. It was a group of guys, regulars. We would always hang out there every day, But as
Yeah.
far as like, the shit talking and stuff like that, if you're talking about DSP coming in there,
Yeah.
it would be DSP being normal DSP fashion.
Okay.
Hating on people that might have been successful, good at the game or loved,
Mhm.
and just stirring that up, And one instance, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Bunkei. Do you remember when GGPO was new, right?
Yes. Hmm.
GGPO was new. So GGPO, you got to remember, guys. Bunkei was talking about CVS2 on Xbox 3, the first Xbox, right?
Yeah.
And the lag was terrible. The Cannon brothers, programming geniuses, they get back there, they start programming their own netcode and something like that to make it playable, less
Yeah.
laggy. And Phil went in IRC. Were you there for that? And he started like talking shit about it or whatnot, Ben?
I think I heard. No, I don't think I was there for it, but I heard it afterwards. I think I heard.
And Joey with Mr. Wizard, that's his channel. He's the mod. He runs it with an iron fist, dude. You know what I mean? So, he gets banned. He's not liked either. So he's walking on extra. He says anything, he's getting banned. So he gets banned. But he twists his story now to current day Bunky that he was the only person that spoke negatively about GGPO. And the Cannon brothers didn't like that because they wanted to sell it to Evo and make money. So you can't say nothing bad. So that's why I was banned in silence. What I like to clear out with you guys, by the way, I already talked about the Cannon brothers, how they're set for life. They're not about making money. Like none of this was monetary for them.
Yeah.
They made this program GGPO. They said to Capcom, "Here you go. Here it is. We're not asking you for any money. It's free. We would like you to use this in your next Street Fighter game or online, and it's gonna work great. Give it a shot." And so that's what they did. They put it up there for free and asked them to use it.
Wow.
Capcom chose not to use it, right, with Street Fighter 4, and they did their like delay-based netcode instead. So, and then now when you hear about rollback netcode, that's GGPO because that's the original concept.
Okay.
So when you hear about rollback netcode, that's GGPO. That's Good Game Peace Out is what it's called because it was just a little server thing. But that's the true history. It wasn't, like money or anything like that. So I just
So we
wanted to
see
clear
Phil.
that up.
Why Phil hates them now? It's because back then he got banned for saying something negative about it. But it wasn't. You're saying it wasn't because he said something negative, it's because he was just like everyone. No one liked him at
He's
all
just a
there.
dick.
Anyway,
Yeah, like and if you come into IRC, tell him Bunkei, like I mean.
The thing about DSP is that this is someone who, to me, I actually feel sorry for her because he definitely has some deep issues.
You
And
haven't watched
I
enough of
think
his shit, dude. You don't know his history. There's so much stuff. I came into it first. Like you can fall into that trap of sympathy with him, but then when you get into all the stuff that he intentionally does and lies about, bro, I'm telling you, man, it's the
but to
sympathy.
me, it's
I got sympathy, bro. Trust me, I have tons
no.
of it.
I mean, I feel sorry for him in the sense that I think that he has issues with his confidence. And I believe that what he does is he likes to put himself in the role of the villain or the anti-hero to kind of cover up. He always deflects
That's true.
any
That's very true about
criticism
his
towards
personality back then.
others. He really I mean, even that when he came over in that famous diatribe between me and him, I mean, it is obvious after listening to that again that this is a guy that really has some emotional issues. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way, because I believe that in our time, even now, I think they're getting a little bit better. But mental health is something that we simply just don't acknowledge
yeah.
in the United States. And I do believe that to whatever extent, I'm not a professional mental health expert, but to me, I believe this dude has profound emotional and mental issues. I mean, and I'm not again, I'm not saying that as a disparaging remark. I'm saying that as just simple observation about why does he continue to put himself in situations, because he's one of those things. He kind of reminds me of Trump. He gets in
He
bad
does remind me of him a
situations
little bit. He does remind me
over
a
and
little.
over again, and always blames something else. It's never his fault.
Well, yeah, that's
Whatever
what.
it happens, whatever bad happens to. At what point do you say, okay, maybe it's not that, maybe it's me?
Yeah.
And whatever for whatever reason,
Never him. Never him, bro.
go
Well,
off
yeah, Bunkei,
in his head that maybe it's me. I remember one time he told a story about how he got fired from his job. I believe he was working at Best Buy somewhere, where he used a discount code or etc. to get a discount off of a PlayStation, and they fired him. And he was like, "Man, the discount was only $7." He said it was a very cheap amount, and except it doesn't matter if in my job, if I do something similar to that, I expect to be terminated. It does not matter
Let me tell you,
how
Bunkei,
much I benefited from it.
you're dude. I can tell. I've talked to you for 20 minutes now. You're too nice of a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like you are so far nicer than Phil ever will be, my friend. You have a kind soul, and you are normal. DSP is neither of those things, so
Dude,
he can't see those things.
I'm telling you, Bunkei, I'm sorry I pulled you out of the well and out of retirement for this, but there is so much shit about this guy that makes him such a piece of shit. Like you wouldn't believe, man. Like, back then we're talking about when we know him, and then that he was like, he tried to act like a heel and would seek attention, and he's never wrong, and he would try to like talk down on people and have this false sense of authority and all these type of things. But I'm telling you, the past like 13 years that he's been streaming, dude, I'm telling you, there's been more Trump-like behavior. Like, what I catch is, and I call it charisma, because it's the type of charisma that like Adolf Hitler has, Trump has to get people behind him, is that if anybody says anything bad about me, or these CNN, NBC, the Democrat, the left, they don't want to say nothing good about me, they're fake news. Don't listen to them. What they say is bullshit. So he discounts anybody that's not a true fan in that category. Like they're mentally ill. They're sick in the head. There's something wrong with them. Don't listen to them. They're crazy. They're crazy. Like they're out of their minds. And that's how he labels us. Like we just sit in our mom's basement and we're just
we're all jealous of
like
it.
That.
That's what he's gonna say about you guys. Is you guys are jealous.
We're doing this for cloud. And...
Yeah. Like you guys are just wanting to get this big, I don't know, big bucks because you're talking about Phil. Or yeah, we're getting so much. We're just talking. We're here to put the truth out there. That's what I'm here for. I know what you guys are here. I want to get the truth from you guys.
we got some stories for you, man.
Yeah,
We got
they're
some
coming.
stories.
We're working our way there, my friends. I promise you in chat. We're getting there.
So let's stay in chronological order.
Yeah.
Right?
Real quick, Jaha. Let me get you
go
real
ahead.
quick. Last question before we get into the real.
Go for it. Let's do it.
When did you become aware of DSP? What was the first time you heard of him? You said, okay, I this is a person I know now in this community. Something like, where was your first brush with DSP back then? You know what I mean?
Yeah, first brush has to be the UCLA Evo, and I think that was about like maybe 2003, 2004, something like that. And it was a UCLA Evo, and one of the guys I was rolling with, Shady K, DSP was talking shit to him on a forum, and so these guys didn't like each other, and that's when they wanted to do a money match, and they did a money match, and they went the first game. The Cannon Brothers, after the first game, Cannon Brothers were like, dude, we're behind schedule. Get the shit off the screen, this exhibition money match shit, and continue the tournament because we're behind schedule. And Phil only lost one game out of the 10. And then that's when I caught him outside, because Shady was just like, he's kind of an instigator, and he'll kind of sick me on people that he didn't like a pit bull, and DSP was one of them. And we caught him outside, and and that's where he had a couple of his boys with him. I had a couple of mine, but I was letting him know, like, hey, you lost one match out of the first to 10 for 100. You owe my boy $10. You better pay him the $10. I'm gonna fuck you up, this and that. And then, he pretty much paid him the $10, and we let him go on his way. But that was my first. Oh, okay. That was my first interaction with him, because he would always piss everybody else first on the internet. You know what I mean? Through forums and the chatter. That's what would get him into trouble, because in person, I don't think he had the balls to really get crazy with people.
Yeah, I want to kind of know about that kind of behind the scenes chatter here you're talking about. So let's go to Bunkei here. So you obviously you were part of that IRC. You heard some of this Phil's trash talking. Was it just like, what was he back? I know he had some. Let's be real. Phil was a good game player. He's a good fighting at ST, right? That was what he was known for. He had some good finishes in that game. We all can say that, right? Bunkei and Jaha, you can admit that, right?
I would say like he's solid in ST.
He's solid,
right?
Yeah, ST,
he's just
right?
solid, but like any other game, he's like pretty bad. Like solid. That's it. Like,
so he was just randomly what was his what did his his chats or his internet trash talking consist of, Bunkei? Did you come? What was it like? I mean, just tell us. Was it just like, you guys suck, West Coast sucks, or was it more like directed at people than that?
To be honest, I never paid attention to him until he called into the radio station.
Okay.
I mean, he wasn't. Because I'm at this point, I'm still living in Michigan, or I don't know.
You're in SeaTac. You're in SeaTac, right outside the airport, baby.
And the thing about it though is that I'm not a professional fighting game player, and I don't live in California, or I don't travel to play in tournaments, so I really had no interactions until he called into the radio station. Then he started, and then when he joined, I had an Alphas and Radio channel, RC channel, and he started joining there, and then he started pulling some of the shit that he was known for. I knew of him, but I didn't know him. But then when he started pulling that same stuff, and that's when I started to have my my issues with him.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back on that, that little diatribe that between me and him, where I was inebriated, it's not my best moment, to be honest.
Well, yeah,
but you know what it is though? He would say the type of shit that if you said that to my face, I'm like, something's gonna happen to you. Something's gonna happen to you. You would not say that to my face, but you're saying that behind your screen.
First of all, it's not a good idea to make a physical threat on the media that can be recorded.
Yeah,
because I easily could have taken that in a totally different direction that would cause him at least some aggravation. But hey, I was inebriated. So I was like, hey, listen, this is my address. I said my address right there, and I said, hey, come and find me. If you really think that you are, come and find me. Let's do this. I'm from the show me state. Show me. You talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? I gave him my address. I'm like, hey, if you think you're gonna come over and whoop my ass, come have at it, have at it. But again, of course, whenever he goes in a dive job, if he knows, if you listen to that, he hangs up. So then
I know, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I want to tell people that I didn't listen to that. Phil
Yeah.
and Bunkei here were in a little fight about something, and Phil's just spouting off, and they're both going back and forth. But then Phil just hangs up when he's done his point, and then he thinks of a funny line, and he'll call back, and then he'll use that. Then he'll use that line first. He'll be like, he'll think of some kind of funny line, and then he'll start the fight, and then hang up again.
Yeah.
Is that literally what's happening then? He's actually hanging up and then ringing back. Okay, because to me, just listening to it recently, it just sounds like he just stops thinking of things to say and but as though he's still on the line, sort of thing, until he's thought of it. I don't know, but is he literally hanging up and then ringing back?
Yeah, he did that at least twice.
Okay.
And again, I mean, and again, it's one of those things where it was basically a circular argument. He plays the victim, and then whenever something bad's happened, it's never his fault.
Yep.
And then he goes out and he repeats the same action over again. I remember the argument basically started over a guy named Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
He was a cool guy. It was really cool, and there was an arrangement where he and DSP and I forgot one other person, they were supposed to play some games. This is offline, obviously. This is before online was viable. And and he said something about Tempest's hair, because in one of the pictures, Tempest had red hair, and he went and talked shit about him on that. I'm like, why does it matter? What matter? What does it matter? His hair is red, black, blue, whatever. What does it have to do with you? I mean, just why do you need to go there with it?
Yep.
And that really what kind of started me on that road. I'm like, okay, this dude.
I gotta give you.
He still talks shit about people's hair color too.
Oh yeah,
to this day, like 10 years later.
Oh, he's still incredibly racist a lot. If there's someone that's not white skin color on a game, he has to say something.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a black person next to it. Watch out! She's gonna take your backpack. Literally.
But with the hair color thing, though, right? Like, isn't it always like, so? Oh, your hair color, your icon, you have pink hair, or a streamer has to color their hair and get like, I don't know what it is. He has this thing about hair colors.
It goes hand in hand with his not wanting to be part of the crowd that that kind of make it in his eyes on Twitch or YouTube. That kind of, they do the custom thumbnails and the clickbait titles, and apparently they all dye their hair, and the people that actually put effort in, he just he bundles them all into one group and assumes they all look like Ninja. Presumably.
They're just doing it for attention. That kind of nonsense. But I want to let this point go, Bunkei. I heard a call with you where Phil called someone eccentric. I can't remember who the fight was. He said, "You're eccentric," and the reason he's eccentric because he was acting feminine and would not admit he's homosexual. By the way, this is back then. And Bunkei, you were eccentric. Bunkei, you were back then. This is a way different time, guys. Where we were saying the FAG word for everything. Okay, that's faggy. It was just a word. But Bunkei, even back then, was saying, "Phil, why does it matter to you what he is? You know what I mean? Just like, it's a person of our community. What does it matter?" And Phil would not let this go. Well, if he's gay, he should just say it. I was like, oh my God, what world are we in here? But Bunkei, I give you respect, man, because back then that's not an easy thing to say. Like, if he's homosexual, I don't care. He's a part of our community.
And you know what? And I remember him in the one that I was talking about, the one little segment.
Yeah,
I talked about that as well. And and I came up with one simple explanation. When someone is that homophobic, I'm gonna start looking at you a little closer.
yeah.
Because again, he's the ultimate deflector of anything that might harm his image or his perception of himself. And that got me thinking, man. I'm like, I'm just saying is that whenever I see someone being that, and the thing about it, when I say homophobic, I don't use that word lightly.
Mm-hmm.
The comments that he was making were out of line even for that era. Not even talking about any time in this era where you be canceled in a hot second, but he was definitely. And again, I don't understand, as you just guys alluded to, I don't understand why he needs to continue going there.
Yeah,
why can't he just keep it on on the game, but for whatever reason, he can't.
Yeah, he never talks about the game in the things I've seen. It's
That's
never
right.
about no fighting game comes into his arguments. It's all about like you suck, you're maybe you're gay. You know, it's like that. What I thought we had to talk about a game here. The base of this is all about a game. But anyways, let's get back on our chronological trail here, Jaha. So we had the first incident there where your first time seeing Phil in the flesh. You said, "Hey, you owe us $10. Give me $10." And I want to get your Phil. Then obviously was obviously did not raise too much of a stink. Happily gave you the $10. I'm guessing. Was there any kind of clearly he was scared? I guess.
Yeah, he was scared. You know, we were looking for a fight. We always try to catch him outside or whatever. But it's just funny because that when you play a money match and you're supposed to play whoever wins the 10 matches is the one that's supposed to is the winner. You don't play one round and be like, hey, you gotta pay for the division of 10 fucking matches or whatever. But we just did it just to punk him and let him off the hook because we weren't gonna beat him up. Somebody was camcording that too, but it's just so unfortunate that is lost because Executioner Desmond Pinkney was there and one of his buddies was recording that whole shit trying to see if he was going to catch a fight, but yeah, that got lost.
Damn, that'd be
totals in time.
We can get a lot of we could raise a lot of money for a ransom with that video. If someone has
I was going to say that's holy grail kind of stuff in terms of detractor.
Yeah. So anyway, if someone has that, let us know. But go ahead, Jaha.
But what we thought was funny about that bringing back that radio show, Ben, and I know that we're not those people anymore. We might have been a little more wild and this and that, but I don't. For these guys have been keeping up with DSP for over a decade, and nobody's ever heard them like get really crazy with a person and a conversation that wasn't more than one way. Because you got to understand, for the past over a decade, he runs his stream like this one-way conversation where I only talk to you. You can't talk back to me unless you have money attached. And if you say something bad, you're silenced, like you're banned for life.
Yep,
so everything's socially one way. You know what I mean? So you were actually in a call with him, and he'll talk shit to you, say he's gonna fuck you up, called you a fat blob and all this shit, and then you talk shit back to him or whatever. So I guess that's what is like interesting to this audience.
Yeah,
like it was entertaining.
Yep, because it's like we don't hear it anymore. We don't hear the back and forth at all. And that call is so interesting with you, Bunkei, is because like there is some back and forth going. It's just Phil now has no back and forth of any aspect of his life. Even people that give him money, it's like, give me your money, don't ask questions. That's
give me your money, say something nice, and that's it. Like there's anything more than that he can't handle.
Exactly. There's no multiplayer games anymore apart from the Street Fighter stuff, or basically anything that doesn't really have a voice chat attached to it.
Yep. So let's move on a little bit here. I want to talk about some money match stuff. This is something that I want to know the truth about because DSP have said many sides of things. He's won some, he's lost some. Then he said, "Oh wait, I've never won anything." But I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. So do you have any memories of any money matches that you saw? I know you're West Coast and he was East Coast, but is there any kind of memories of that? Any Jaha or Bunkei?
I saw the pictures where there's one there's one picture where he's playing Eddie Lee. That was probably like a ECT tournament. I wasn't there at that time, so I don't know too much. Or I don't know about him having any money matches or winning or with who. So unfortunately, no, I wasn't on the East Coast. I was a West Coaster at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there was one picture where he was in a room in the back, and I see Tom Cannon, I see Vi, and I see Choi, and he's just sitting in the back like watching. I don't know where you got that picture from. I don't know who let him in the room, man. I might have to dig on that. Like, why the fuck do you let this guy in, dude? Who let him in, dude? Because I know all the guys in that picture too, and like Serlin's there too. But yeah, but Ben, you said you had a good story for us to share.
Yeah.
About DSP that is new that we never heard of.
Ooh.
And regarding him
we're
on
here
the show.
Okay. Well, believe it or not, I mean, after Alphas and Radio died down, I actually never paid much attention to DSP.
Yeah.
And it's only through just randomness that I found out that he had his own podcast. I have to give it to this dude because he has pissed off a very, very smart people who made sure that they expose him for what he is. So when he filed for bankruptcy, I don't know how they found this out. Someone in the community knew about it and they purchased, because in the bankruptcy, I work for a bank, so here's my expertise coming to work. So when you're in bankruptcy, the debt can be purchased by any third party. And when you purchase the debt, you are able to actually be on the conference call, because because most of these cases are now obviously adjudicated in the courtroom. Some of these just do conference calls, and they were actually, there was a guy that was there, goes unnamed, and they basically go through all DSP's receipts about what he's been doing with his money.
Yeah.
Because to the point where he was spending tens of thousands a month on these wrestling. I can't remember what game it was. A card
WWE
game.
champions.
Yeah, I'm like, really? Really? This is where you've been spending your month on, and this is after the infamous video of him pleasuring himself.
Oh
And he
yeah.
thought that he turned the video off. I'm thinking he can't get any lower than that.
No.
Yeah. It can actually get worse,
Then, oh my gosh, this has been our comedy show. Our train wreck that we've been watching, that we've been keeping up with all this stuff. I'm telling you, you don't know like the half of it, bro. It's like this is my YouTube algorithm. You know what I mean? You go on and you see all you need to track the content. And you keep up with all the dumb shit that this guy does, or scummy or whatnot. But go ahead. Sam.
I'm just gonna quickly go back to what you were just saying, because I feel like chat would kill us if we didn't go into this a bit more. But so when you're saying it was a conference call, you're talking about the bankruptcy call that everyone's heard.
Yeah, the bankruptcy hearing, the magistrate, his attorney was on there, as well as DSP, because DSP had to answer questions directly from the judge. And I mean, and it's absolutely, in one sense, it's hilarious, because you find out that this man, he just blew through the cash that he had. And and the thing about it, that when he tried to file bankruptcy, he tried to trick the court into thinking that he had nothing.
Yep.
But he doesn't know how the court system works. There's something called discovery. Where each attorney can get necessary information that's relevant to the trial, and during the discovery process, the attorney for the bankruptcy was like, wait a minute, this dude got two houses. He's talking about he has nothing. He has nothing of value. He's like, again, I'm the victim. I'm penniless. I'm broke. And this is when they start pulling out the receipts. I'm like, oh, you own a second. Oh, that's just a small little, And again, it's absolutely hilarious, but also sad at the same time.
It's stupid. It's so stupid. You own a house, you want to go move, you're supposed to sell your fucking place before you fucking go buy another one. But he has this MC Hammer syndrome that he thinks all this money is going to keep coming in. For every month for the rest of his life. He thinks
that's a great way of putting it.
Well, it's so retarded. I was like, unbelievable.
Well, we've known he's maxed out his credit cards. In the end of the bankruptcy filing, there's 13 credit cards that were maxed out. 13, right? And Evie said even when he started his fighting game career, that was all financed by credit cards too. Because I know back then, even if you win, you're not taking home thousands, right? Back in the day, it's like the love of the game, right?
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and Bunkei, just to fast forward, he won that bankruptcy. He got like $150,000 of bankruptcy cleared. Don't talk about the discovery stuff. Rest in peace, Kiwi Farms. Prayer hands. Don't let them know about it.
Oh my God.
Bunkei, let me just fast forward to you and just let you know.
Yeah.
That this, Phil has his small community, maybe like 100 viewers and fans, and a couple of them with a lot of money. We call them whales that donate a lot. That's how he's able to tread water. Well, actually, he does okay. He makes like 120, 140K a year. Unfortunately, his $3,000 of his income is overhead, and then like whatever else he'll spend on WWE champions.
Yes.
I've never seen. I've seen crackheads. I see people on heroin. I seen gambling addicted. I never seen anybody so addicted that, he'll get a $200 tip one night. They'll look at his log and see him log into WWE champions and put that money straight in there and level up his fucking cards or whatever the fuck. Yeah. So you get $200, boom, you pull it out of PayPal right away, pay the fee, and dump it straight into the game. Like that. I don't even see crackheads that addicted. You know what I mean? They'll sit there and keep on collecting more money first before they go, buy their drugs. Like this guy, he gets it, he pulls it out, he pushes it straight into the other machine, bro. It's like his addiction level, I've never seen anything like it. I swear.
I guess it's just the self-control, the lack of self-control is really appalling. And, as some of the cakes carry yourself, Jaha, your self-control is a big part of your life. Well, everyone's life. Every normal person's life has
You
some
can't make
self-control.
this shit up, man. You
But
cannot. I'm not
he has
making this stuff
literally
up, man.
zero self-control about that stuff. Zero. There is none.
Yeah.
There is none. And that's what it takes. That's why he can always cry poor and not actually be lying. Because he is poor, because every single day he's spending the money he made the day before. So imagine that for a second, right? That's
another thing that's like sad about him, Ben. So he'll get on a stream. He'll stream twice a day, and he's literally like crying poor, begging, like, "Hey, I need money. I got this. I got that. My toilet broke. My smoke detector fell off because the sticky tape got too hot or something like that." It blows my mind. This guy has no like technical skill. Like he doesn't know how to mount a freaking smoke detector or let alone change a tire.
There's so much
like that, or toilet handle.
I just have one question. I'm like, just when all of this hit when this bankruptcy hearing and all of that hit the way, how can you go back and ask people to give you money when they just showed you how you blew through 5 figures?
Bunkei, you're too
You
nice.
had a second house. You mean, dude, listen. As I said, I have never made a penny off of Alpha Radio.
Yeah.
I mean, because like I said, I don't think, I just never thought of it that way. This dude went and he got people donating. If I was me, I would be like, I'm gonna put this in, some retirement. I'm gonna
no,
and some stocks and
Hulk
savings.
Hogan.
Make sure it grows, grow my brand, grow my business and everything. No, he just gonna blow it all on a card game, and then got the nerve to turn around and ask you for more money. My toilet broke. You better dig a hole. I'm like, man, I don't even without knowing him personally. I'd be like, man, you better go kick rocks. You ain't gonna sit there and try to give me no sob story after I got what I heard out of your bankruptcy hearing.
Bunkei, the next layer of this that you probably won't believe, and we can't make this shit up because we're not making this shit up, is that I don't like calling people names, but his viewers, like, we call them dent heads because and his supporters, because they're that dumb that, they see that he blows his money on this. For the longest time, he's been denying that he doesn't play WDB champions. Recently, they caught him, put his phone down, and got a screenshot and be like, yo, that's WE champions open on your phone. He got caught. So then he admits to it. And he says, yeah, I play. So now he admits that he blows all this money on his game, and dude, they still continue to support him and all this other stuff. And
it's not an exaggeration to say that it's not a massive amount of people that fund this either. It's some estimates put it at the ones that tip big, maybe 2 or 3 people, maybe
maybe a handful. Yeah, that's really that's why I'm saying, like, I feel bad for the real. I don't feel bad for the people that understand Phil's a drama show and they enjoy the drama of Phil and they donate to Phil. Okay, that's fine. The people I really feel bad for the people that unironically think Phil is an entertaining person. He really is in trouble and he wants to help and people want to help him. That's the people I feel bad for. That's what gets me pissed, is that Phil is talking to those people that aren't smart enough to see through this, right? There's some people that are smart enough and they know Phil, it's all a game. It's a drama show. Here, Phil, take my $10. But there's some people that don't.
I'm sorry I dragged you into this wormhole, Ben, because this is hard for us to explain to normal people, like all the shit that he's done, all the history, like all the lies, all the exposure, like
there's way too much to go over.
But
it's interesting you guys are talking about the people that donate money, and in my line of work, I have clients who come in that get duped into similar stuff. And the thing about it though is that it's sad because it makes you cynical. That's the bad part about this. So when people really do need help, you have a hard time figuring out, is this person really in dire need of help, or are they just trying to just get over on you, just try to take your money, and so you end up not doing anything at all, which is not good either. But I just tell people, just do your due diligence before you give your.
They're not that bright, man. They're not that bright. That's what we call them deadheads, bro. He's really like a cult that he's running, like the control that he has. Like when he tells people his viewers what to do. Don't believe the naysayers. They're sick in the head. There's something wrong with them. They need help. Like that's what literally like what he says. So
my favorite thing he said recently was that, remember that clip, the famous clip of Mike Watson saying DSP is a piece of shit, by the way. I want to get that on YouTube. Famous clip. And then at the end, Mike Watson says, and look at him now. And Phil recently went through that and said, like, then he said, look at him now. What does that even mean? You know exactly what the fuck it means. You're the laughing stock of the entire internet. That's what it means. You know what I'm saying? That's what it means. I mean, Mike Watson, might not be some, huge YouTube dude like you are, but at least the internet doesn't laugh at him. You know what I'm saying? Like the internet's not laughing at Jaha. It's not laughing at Bunkei. It's not laughing at us. It's laughing at you. And that's what Mike Watson meant when he said, look at him now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
so you guys ready for me to kick off the lore? I want to try to keep it in a chronological order. So we had our first incident, right? We talked about that.
Yeah.
And now I'm fast forwarding to 2006. And I don't know, were you guys aware of DSP versus Viscount, that whole thing that I shared with you?
We want to hear that again for sure. So,
okay, so if you look up DSP versus Viscount, and it'll show you a Reddit link, and it'll be Viscount explaining that. But these two guys, long story short, we're talking shit. DSP always talking shit. So Jay's like, hey, you want to go? Let's go. Like I may look like, and if you guys know Viscount, like he's famous for the versus LTG thing, right? So you know how he looks or whatever, Shout out to Jay Snyder, Viscount. But Viscount, he knows how to fight, like he practices martial arts and this and that. So he was like, all right, let's go. So they plan it out and they talk about, getting a ring, and Phil's talking about having like a medic there and all these other terms, this and that. And when it starts getting down to close to that time, then Phil private messages Jay and says, hey man, so yeah, when we have everybody there and we're about to fight or whatever, let's just do like a DX crotch chop and all laugh at everybody, like, hey, we fooled you, and Jay was upset. He was like, dude, I really wanted to like fuck you up and fight, dude. Like now you're telling me you want to do some like troll joke or whatever. So he blows it off.
Yeah.
He blows it off. And I guess everything's squashed. So they talk casually again. And the next year comes around, and there's the Evo East, there's the Evo West, and then there's a main Evo in Vegas. And the Evo West, he wanted to come out to San Diego. And he said he was broke, right? So he wanted to stay with Viscount. So Viscount let him stay with them. But prior to that, sorry for the chronological order, a lot of this stuff I had to recall for you guys. So before that was the incident where DSP went on IRC and was talking all this shit to Mike Watson, calling him a fat ass and washed up and everything, a whole bunch of stuff that you wouldn't say to Mike Watson's face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Mike Watson, like DSP said, DMs him and say, hey, when I see you, I'll fuck you up, bro. Like that's it. You know what I mean? You're done. So, and Mike Watson's like my best friend. You know what I mean? So he lets me and all the boys know. I'm like, all right, let's go, man. It's on. So DSP is staying at Viscount's house. And there was one night we were staying in a hotel San Diego. Mike was like, yo, I'll be back. I'm like, where you going, Mike? And it's like, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. All right. I guess he didn't want to bring us or whatever. He went to Viscount's house, and then he asked Jay, he's like, hey, is that fucker, is he there? He's there? Like, because he wanted to like, he's ready to like, he was hunting him. He was like, bro, he was about to whip his ass at his house. And, Mike was like, all right, I don't want to disrespect your house. But Jay was like, hey, he's going to be at Evo West all weekend. Catch him over there. We're like, all right, bet. So now you got to remember, this was taking place at Comic-Con, right? So Comic-Con, it's a huge place, all these vendors, all these booths. And then when you go in like the back, one of the doors, there's a room, an empty room. And then in that room, they had all the arcade set, all the consoles set up and everything. And that's where the Evo West was going on. Now, we didn't want to ruin the Evo event, and we didn't want to do anything at Comic-Con because, respect for the event, number one. Number two is, like, if you fight in a club, you might get like one punch off, fight gets broken up by security, that's it. Yeah. We really wanted to do damage. Like, yo, we want to catch this guy where we're gonna, hospitalize him. You know what I mean? Like, make him bleed, like for the shit that he was talking. We don't want just like one punch broken up type shit. Yeah. That's the way we were. And so so we see him at the tournament. You know, we're stalking him and everything. That year, I think it was 2006. 300, the movie was big. They're promoting the DVD, so they were handing out all these the circular cardboard shields. Everybody's walking around with a 300 shield on their arm, this and that. I see Phil, and then I got my shield on. I say, "This is Sparta!" And then I charging star him with the fucking shield, boom, right into his fucking back. And then, you know, he goes to the floor and he starts like rolling around or whatever, like kind of overacted like a soccer player. Because I think after that he runs to the cannonball and is like, "Hey, did you see that? Did you see that?" And they were like, "Didn't see nothing, man. We're over here busy running the tournament or whatever." And then so he knew from that, and then after that, that was it. And in that area.
So that, hold on, real quick. Let me stop.
Go ahead.
That
go
kind
ahead,
of still funny. That was still kind of a, hey, this is kind of, we're bros chilling kind of a joke there, or was it like clearly animosity was there?
No, that was like, hey, fucking, you know, let me just be a fucking dick. He's over here, and I got my fucking shield. This is Sparta. Boom, and just fucking, you know, fucking shoulder charge him. You know what I mean? Just to let him know. You know, like,
okay, business time.
We're here to fuck you up. We're serious, man. So he knew we were business. He started getting worried. He started getting scared. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, my phone dropped.
Yeah.
And he knew we were for real. You know what I mean? So let me see. So, you know, he's walking around carefully. We catch him outside when he goes outside, and he leaves. He's going into, you know, those parking lots that go up and up and up, those circular type of parking lots. So you know, he says that he was set up or whatever, or he was framed. He likes to say that, like, Jay, like Viscon is the one that said, "Hey, he's over here, you know, come fuck him up." No, it wasn't like that. We were looking for him, and all he was doing was staying with Jay, and Jay was giving him a ride. So, you know, we catch him, and he's going up the parking lot, and then, you know, we're starting to like come after him. And I hear this from Jay. Jay was telling me that, you know, Phil was like, "Hey, man, Jaha and Watson are coming after us, dude. Do you want to run?" And Viscon was like, "You can run. I'm not gonna run. That's your problem." So they're just walking fast up the parking lot, and then they stop. And, you know, when I asked Mike about the story again, he's like, "Yeah, I think they got tired or something. I don't know why the fuck he stopped, but what is it? They got to their car finally, so they stopped." And that's when we swarm on Phil, you know, and I'm fucking like, you know, fucking, "What's up, man? Let's go, we're ready. Fuck this guy up, this and that." And then, you know, Phil's like bobbing and weaving, like there's nothing there, but he's like, dude, he's fucking scared. And you know, Watson was like, "Hey, why are you talking all that shit? You know, what the fuck? You know, let's go, man. I'll fuck you up right now." And that's how, you know, he started breaking into the crying and like, "Dude, you know, I was drunk. I don't remember what I was saying." You know, so, you know, Mike is seeing this guy cry. So then he's at the point where like, all right, we're gonna call it off, you know. And he told Phil like, "Hey, you know, me, Jaha, anybody, dude, like, we don't want to hear our names just ever come out of your mouth, ever," you know. And it worked for a good decade, man, because I'll be honest with you, you know, a couple years back, you know, I would like say something to Phil's chat while he's playing Street Fighter and whatever, and he'll just ignore it, like he doesn't see what I'm saying or anything. And I'm like, "Oh, maybe it's because I didn't tip," you know, because he only responds to people that tip and stuff like that. So I used to Amazon Prime sub. "Oh, Jaha Base God became a subscriber," or whatever. No shout out, nothing. Like, would not say my name. Like, silence. So, and it just and so he really did keep our names out of his mouth for quite a long time. It wasn't until that you know, when he did that down to whatever review of his old video down the rabbit hole, that he's actually like addressed us. You know what I mean? Like, he's really kept us out of the name. But that's the lore on that.
That's the lore on that one, and that's the shield part. I think it's like that part's kind of lost to history. I'm glad that got out. I want to go through each step though, real quick, Jaha, if I could, just to make sure we get the facts straight, nothing taken out of context. You have said that there was no setup. Phil thought there was a setup. That Viscount story's too good. You want to run? You run, not me. That's awesome.
Oh man, yeah, that was great. I talked to Jay, and he was telling me some of the things that happened. Like, he's saying every time I like flinched, he was like ducking and weaving from punches that weren't even there. Is the way to describe it.
So,
Say it, but yeah,
he did say. So he did say, "Hey, I don't remember what I said. I was drunk." That is a true statement from Phil. Then he did say that.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And then after we let him go, and then we left, and they got in Jay's car, and they were driving home. Jay was telling me he was so fucking scared. Like, he was still like almost crying, and like he was asking like, "Just wants to know where you live. Like, what if he comes over tonight?" Like, it was still like I mean, dude, when you have somebody scared to the bone, dude, that's like where we had him down to. But I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and also he said he admitted to Mike then he was an alcoholic. Did you have not? That is a true statement as well, right?
Yes, he was saying he was drunk. He didn't know what he says, or he didn't remember it. Just. I mean, really, just trying to get out. Like, I mean, what else can you say to get out of that?
Yeah,
without any blood.
Here's the key point, because this is the part that is kind of new information from Phil that I want to check on. Phil claims he put his arms behind his back and said, "Hit me if you want to. If that will make you feel better, hit me. Go ahead." Did that happen or not happen?
Gosh, I don't remember that, because if he asked me to hit him, dude, I would fucking hit him, bro. Like, I mean, it's not like I don't know if I remember that, like him being that brave about it. I gotta ask Watson and Jay about that. Sorry, guys, like that my memory's fuzzy on this one. I had to recall. I forgot I did the whole charging star with the 300 shield and all that stuff. I had to recall some of this stuff and hear from the other side. But no, yeah, I can't really confirm that. But I doubt it, man.
Brave, right?
If he put his hands behind and asked me to hit him, dude, I really would. Like, I would not like.
Wait, yeah.
I wanted it to happen, man. I was a rabid dog back then, man. I was just. I was ready to go.
So
I was a different person back then. That's why it was hard for me to remember.
Yeah. Did he did he say, real quick, Meerkat, it's a good question. Did he say he was drunk, or did he say I'm an alcoholic at that time? I want to get the distinction. I mean, it's a tough ask.
He said he was drunk when he was talking shit.
Okay, there was no I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
but he said he was drunk, and he doesn't recall or know what he was saying.
Okay.
And he was crying.
Final point, he did say the next day he did take care of Mike Watson at this tournament. Was this the tournament that was the Neo Geo conversion, or is this a different tournament?
This was that game version of the Neo Geo version, and I think he did beat Mike, and I think they did. And then it was the next main Evo tournament. That was the one where he got fourth. So, with this version of the game, he was really going on a run because he found some broke shit that worked. And so
we
that is
story,
true.
Yeah. We know that story of how Phil did get fourth, but that's only because the real big players didn't give a shit about that version. Blah blah blah. We know that for sure. I would get back to Sam. Any questions? Follow up questions there? Make sure the story got out perfectly there.
No, I mean, everyone's talking about the alcoholic versus drunk thing, and I think it's. I mean, in my opinion, I think I'd probably side with everyone here that that was a retcon. He's happy to say he was an alcoholic. You don't just stop being an alcoholic, So yeah, so I think there's some bullshit being talked there for sure.
Yeah, it's the same old Phil from that's over 12 years ago. That was and it's the same old Phil where there's no accountability, makes an excuse for talking shit, and when it was time to pay the piper, I
don't care how
to wiggle out of.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't give a shit how low he has to stoop to get himself out of it. If he has to cry and say he's an alcoholic, he'll do it. So. But,
Bunkei, I want to ask you, because I listed a lot of your shows, and Phil was a very frequent caller, right? Even after you guys did a little feud, he'd be calling all the time, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, and the thing about it though is that it's almost as if he had short-term memory loss. And so he forgot that hey, I threatened to cut your balls off and ram it down your throat. But let's continue on like nothing ever happened.
Okay.
I mean, that's exactly what he did. He hung up the phone, and and at that point I realized that this is a guy that's really the definition of all barred by no bite. And so so at from that time period onward, I didn't take him seriously, and I just know that he's just a big blowhard. I mean, he was just talking a whole lot, and again, I go back to what I said originally. In a weird sort of way, I kind of feel sorry for the dude because I really do think that this dude needs help. I don't say that disparaging. I really do think this dude needs help. As
Yes.
you guys pointed out, addictions just don't go away.
No.
They
I think
just
we all agree with you.
manifest just different ways. It just gets worse over time, not better.
We do know he needs help for sure. But we got a lot of questions to get to, guys. So I'm going to kind of start the questions period up, if you could. So, Sammy boy, you were in charge of getting the questions out to the legends, if you don't mind, asking for Bunkei or Jaha or us, of course. But we got a lot of questions here. So, Sam, get it started.
Yeah, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that we've got more questions than we've ever had for you guys. So,
yes.
We'll do the best we can.
Yeah.
Do we start with just questions or listener questions?
Yeah, 2 listener questions, I guess. They're
Okay,
the
cool.
important people.
Cool. Okay. So this is from Caesar for Jaha. What do you think of? Is it Taki? I don't know. From Soul Calibur 2.
Very specific question.
That's the question for you.
Taki, yeah, she's pretty cheap, but there was cheaper characters. That game, Soul Calibur 2, there was a lot of people that were cheap. So, but that's what made it fun. Everybody had their cheap shit. So
there you go.
Back then, games didn't get balanced. But what I think about Taki, she was pretty cheap.
There we go. I hope that answers your question, Caesar. Oh man, this is the usual one. Sorry, we'll get this out of the way now. What's for dinner?
What's for dinner? He always asks the same question. It's a meme, but yeah, what's for dinner? For me, chicken. Bunkei.
I mean, you have to understand, it's 10:35 a.m. here, so dinner is a long way around. I have no idea. Actually, my roommate made me some noodles and chicken from the other night. I haven't get a chance to eat yet. So
there you go. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Jaha.
Tough call, man. I had pizza last night,
for the pizza party.
Yeah, I had pizza last night, so I'm not sure. Whatever it is, it's not going to be pizza.
There you go.
Maybe something with rice.
All right, Sam, go ahead.
Right, okay. Let's get on to more serious stuff then. Okay, so after Phil started doing YouTube, did you ever have a real conversation with him, or was it always with the camera pointed in your face?
Did you ever? Yeah. So you're talking about I think this person's kind of not sure the timeline, right? Because Phil was known for at this tournament sometimes trying to get content and kind of pissing off the organizers and stuff. Like, hold on, I got to set up my camera, and it would take forever to get it set up. I know you might not have come in contact with that, right, Jaha? Because you're West Coast, but
and I was West Coast, but I guess timeline. So a good marker is I think Phil started in 2010, correct?
Something like that.
Content. Yeah. 09 is when Street Fighter 4 came out. Everybody was playing that. Everybody under the sun was playing that game. And then, he'll still compete. I think around 2010, he started becoming a YouTuber. So that's why some of that was in his contact. But he pretty much, faded away outside of the FGC, stopped going to tournaments and stuff like that after probably 2010, 2011. And then after that, it's been locked up in a condo ever since. Everything's just one way. Well, he still had some friends, but he's slowly, I guess, decomposed into this form that we have now, right? Because he lost friends, he lost his girlfriend, and
Rambo, and 2008. Yeah, 2008 he started his YouTube, but that one is just like a hobby, starting actually as a hobby, and then became a real thing later. But all right, next question from you, Sammy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not even going to ask the first part of this, but I'll tell you what it is.
Question. Yeah.
For Jaha, you even lift, bro.
Power walks.
I power walk on shower days. So
right.
2 or 3 times a week.
As we all do. What do you think is the main reasoning behind why Phil is so reluctant to play Fightcade 2? And that's a good question.
He would get destroyed. He would get destroyed. Number one, when it comes to Fightcade 2, which is the newest version, it takes a little bit of setting up. You gotta, install it, put the files and the ROMs in the right folders. Pretty simple. And there's FAQs out there. People walk you through it. But for Phil, if his hand is not held, or it's just not like plug and play, he won't be able to figure it out. I mean, he might if somebody holds his hand, but if he hops on, he will get demolished. There's not people on there that are like, the people that he wins matches against are like arcade scrub types, people that don't understand the game, they don't know the combos, they don't even know moves. Those are the type of people that he plays. So he's like an arcade scrub beater level. If he goes on Fightcade, I don't really even see him winning a game. It's and the lag is very like the connections are very good and smooth. Like to put it in the context, like I was playing Third Strike, and I saw a Yun was hitting me with Genijin combos, but Ben Genijin combos, and those are very accurate, and Third Strike's a very um, unforgiving game when it comes to lag because you have to parry everything 0 frames. You know what I mean? So he would get destroyed. But to answer the question, he'll get destroyed, man. He wouldn't be able to set it up probably unless somebody held his hand. If he did, he'll get destroyed because those are people that actually know how to play. When he hops on Xbox or Nintendo Switch Street Fighter, you know what I mean? Like that's like who is like serious players like they're not going to be there. They don't hop on that. They hop on the PC. They go on the place with the best connection, and they try to play the best people. And they search competition. He's not searching for competition. You know what I mean?
Oh no, he's not. No, he's not. Who's
then,
there? What high level top fighters are like? Let me break out my Switch and get some fighting in. He's doing that.
Yeah, exactly. If you go into the lengths of getting ROMs and installing software to play, you're playing it for a reason other than just I just want to chill sort of thing. If you're seeking that sort of thing out, then you're going to be coming up against more serious players, I'd imagine.
What kills me about him when he plays Street Fighter is that like he expects himself to play at this level, his peak level that he used to play at, but he puts in zero practice. Like he doesn't, like he'll say, "Oh, my combo didn't come out," or this. When do you ever fucking practice, bro? Like all fighting game players, you sit there and you go in training mode and you make sure you can hit your combo 100% of the time. Because in a real match, when you're clutching it or you're nervous or something's happening, you might only hit it 50% of the time. So that's why you practice it more and more so that, it comes out. You could do it with your eyes closed. You could do it just because you hear the sound cues and it just comes out automatically in your face. But he doesn't practice any of that, and he complains why he can't do a perfect 360.
Yeah, that's to me why this is the reason why he will never be a top player. He doesn't have the work ethic. I mean, I give you a good comparison about that. Everyone knows who Idom is. Idom, to me, is the best Street Fighter player on the planet right now. Even despite, his second place, but you can clearly tell that this dude, but
he was steamrolling through everybody, and he steamrolled through several Japanese players.
He left. He killed all of the Japanese gods in one tournament. I mean, but then he was also the first player I know of when the Warlord rank became available. He was Warlord. Do you know how many hours you need to sink into Street Fighter 5 to get Warlord? It is unbelievable. I mean, so he grinded it out. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's the philosophy that I need to see, for me to consider you a top player. And for someone just to think that this is a God-given ability that's just going to last forever, and it's just going to age like fine wine. I mean, you're delusional.
Bro, if you understood what Phil's perspective of work is, or hard work, bro, you would lose your shit. You would lose your shit. Like normal stuff that we do in a day, like is the most fucking taxing thing to him.
Oh yeah, like laundry is. Oh my god, that's a full day. That's a full day. You're
going
you're
food
out.
shopping. Oh my god, fucking trouble on aisle 2.
We're breaking Bunkei slowly here. With
you can't see Bunkei, but he looks exactly like you'd expect. He's just sitting there shaking his head. I feel like there should be like a part 2 to this where we fill in some of the gaps here for Bunkei. I feel like that'd be good value.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
It's so hard to explain to other people. Like somebody's like, how do you guys explain it to your wives? Like, hey, it's like, what the fuck are you watching? I'm like, yeah, I'm watching this guy I like to laugh at. That's a loser. Got caught jerking off on stream and he begs. So like it's kind of hard to explain your YouTube algorithm to other people. It's like you gotta keep it private.
I got a question. Let me ask this next one because I want to ask Bunkei this one. Does anyone else that was kind of, would you say Phil chose to leave or was he forced to leave? I'm very much paraphrasing this question. Like in the community, when he said, does the community say bye to Phil, or did Phil choose to say bye himself, do you think? And this, if you don't know, that's totally cool. But just kind of what's the feeling?
I think that the community stops paying him, the people that are smart stop paying him attention.
Okay.
And then he just disappears into the ether because people realize that, again, all bark, no bite. And he really doesn't have anything. It's sad because we established at the beginning that he's a solid ST player. he could have used that knowledge and actually help others to learn more about the game and really kind of build his brand off of that. And and really, taking a totally different path that might have led to some success. But it's all about him. And and again, just it's a broken record at this point.
But if anything, the
bad things
FGC is like an
happen.
open door, right? Bunkei,
Yeah.
like anybody can come in and anybody can come out. It's not like
Right.
it's not like VIP in the champagne room or something like that. Like you need some status. It's an open door. So, you can leave, you can come back. It's not like, a big thing that he makes it, But one thing that I wanted to bring up is that how you're talking about how he left the FGC. Gosh, I was thinking about a point. I'm sorry. You know what? I'll come back.
Okay, that's cool. So how about this one for Jaha here? Can you tell us a little bit about your lifting? What 5 exercise you do, lifts in the gym? How do you look so good? People want to know. How do you take care of yourself?
Well, hey guys, you guys can hit me up for fitness advice anytime. If I got the time, I'll share it. I go for a bodybuilding style approach. So I don't care about strength. I don't care about functionality or performance. I care about like looking good. So I, lift in a bodybuilding style. So I do the bro split, which is, you come in and work out one muscle group each workout a day, like there's a chest day, back day, leg day, shoulder day, arm day, or something like that. And I just really try to focus on the sculpting and going for the look. And I think it pays off is how you train is how you're gonna look. So, which makes a lot of sense to me. Like if you are, running long distances, you're gonna look like a marathon runner. If you are lifting heavy weights and taking your time and doing short explosive periods, you're gonna look like a power lifter. You're gonna get that round build like a football player. They're strong. So I think it's all about how you train is gonna determine how you look. And I try to lift and work in a bodybuilding style.
Cool. How many times a day you going? I mean, what's your goal, I guess?
I'm going more. 5. I try to do 4 days a week. I've been going more lately, trying to catch up because for the past 9 months I was working way too much and skipping out. But I've been doing it so long that it stays with you. That's one of the benefits,
Definitely, yeah. Yep, we can see that for sure.
Thank you,
go ahead,
thank
Sam.
you,
Next
guys.
question, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, this one I'm kind of interested in actually. Are there any other people in the FGC that have removed themselves from fighting games as much as DSP and LGG, but still pretend to be in it?
I would say yeah. I would say a lot. Yeah. I mean, not in such a bad way that Phil is, but there is a lot of people that since Street Fighter 4 had this big explosion, and the Street Fighter 5 came out and was a disappointment, especially in the early seasons of it. A lot of people stopped playing, but they're still like in the community, maybe involved in a different way or something. But you definitely lose and gain people, through these cycles. But Street Fighter 4 was like the biggest explosion. Street Fighter 5 came out, a lot of people dropped off, and you see the top players today are they weren't from Street Fighter 4. Idom, Punk, Brian F. Shout outs to all those guys, killing it. But yeah, it's kind of a generational thing. But there are some people that stay in the scene, throughout in the background, maybe support, running tournaments, doing good things for the community. Not really, just sticking around just to talk smack or stand on the outside. He has nothing to do with the FGC. He doesn't have his ear to the streets of the FGC and what's going on. It's better if you just would not talk about it at all, but he just likes to act like he knows, because he needs to tell his classroom.
Yeah, his classroom, what's up. Yep. Remember when I was back then, guys? Now when he talks about the fighting game community, it's like how those guys have so much money. Like oh, Watson must be rolling in dough right now. Or like that's all he talks about. So they have endless money now. So they can play as much as they want,
He just, he'll get some information on Twitter and that's how he educates himself. He's literally just Twitter educated. Like it's pretty sad. Like that's your only form of education. And Twitter is not the brightest place in the world either. You know what I mean? But that's all he gets his education from. It's like just literally Twitter news. That's the extent of his knowledge.
Uh-huh. Yep.
It kind of leads on to a question I had actually, which is similar. Was there anyone else that was like Phil? You know, like is confrontational, or did anyone else ring into your show and do that sort of stuff?
Who are you thinking of?
Yeah, you might. There's another guy named Dark Prince.
I was thinking about.
And if you guys, I believe if you put it in YouTube, you might find it.
Okay.
I almost felt like that he kind of want to be. He saw like DSP and made a template out of it. Like, okay, I'm going to be like that. Except he took it one step farther. He actually did bring a weapon into an arcade once. I mean, and he got subsequently banned from Evolution, and because of that. I mean, Dark Prince.
You know, it makes me think that he suffers the same kind of syndrome. You know what I mean? Because he's a short black kid, and you know he wanted to be a heel, he wanted to be a villain, and you know he did want to get like that acknowledgement. He seeked acknowledgement and attention because his original username was Duck Jr. Right? So Duck Doe was the best Marvel player, and then he named himself Junior after him. You know, which is totally in picture. It doesn't look right because Duck is Vietnamese and Dark Prince is a black kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But his name was Duck Jr. Then he changed it to Dark Prince, and you know he would he called out all the veterans. He called everybody washed up. Had some money matches. Lost one, won one. So that's when he started getting all the attention, and then he would like shit talk, and you know then he would try to get violence involved with it. Like, hey, I'm gonna see you at Evo, and I'm gonna bring something shiny with me. And that's where you know Wizard was like, okay, you're banned, you know, so you can't come. But he still showed up, you know, hiding in a hoodie, hiding in the corner, plays the Marvel or whatever, you know, because it's, you know, it sucks. But yeah, I would say it's totally very similar.
Oh, cool. Update here from chat. Chet Hank says Dark Prince joined the military. Has straightened himself out since then. That's good.
Yeah, he did. He joined the military. I saw him.
Because military is a great. I mean, it's a great way of someone who has an inflated view of themselves. Yes, go into the military. They will solve that for you. They will solve that because I'm pretty sure that I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall during boot camp when he tried some of that shenanigans on his.
He was telling me crazy shit. He was telling me he was in the Philippines and then he was working with the military over there and fighting like the Muslim rebels or something. I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
I didn't even know the American government was involved with shit.
Right.
Like
I'm like, what? He was in the Philippines doing, man. He was like, I'm a merc for hire. I'm over there.
He's a mercenary.
He was like, he had like a photo of himself holding a big ass gun. I don't know much about guns.
Jeez, maybe he has the same.
You know, supposed to be out there. I'm like, you know, and again, if it doesn't make sense, something ain't quite right here.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he has the same penchant for storytelling as our boy does, DSP.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It could be the same kind of personality leads to that a lot. I do want to talk about for both of you guys' recollections of like when Phil became this YouTube thing, right? We was this kind of big thing. What was the thought then? Like, right? Was there any kind of FGC mention of Phil, or just there's no talk of that? It's a question we got, so I want to ask you though.
I think for us, we knew about it, but that was about as far as the mention go. Like, oh, DSP is like big on YouTube now or something like that, right? Like you, me, Ski Sonic, we would talk, right, Ben? And like we would just like hear about it going on, but but that's it. It's not like anybody like when we went to go seek him out or anything like that. Like, hey, you're big now, you know, let's get your autograph or come cover this event or anything, or come to our game con or whatever, you know. Like it was never like, it was just something, right, Ben? Like how would you recall?
I mean, the thing about it though is that after my show was done with, I never paid any attention to him, and so you know when I heard, obviously through the grapevine, his own YouTube channel, but there was never any inkling for me to go check it out or anything like that. I mean,
it was just like something that you hear about, like, hey, Billy just got married, or Joe just had a baby girl. Like you just, you know, you hear about, okay, Phil is DSP's YouTuber and he's popular. Like, okay, you know, but like, is this? Yeah, we didn't know why. I guess that's what puzzled. That's why Mike kind of, you know, threw a jab at him about it, because like, yo, why is this guy like even fucking popular? He's a fucking asshole, you know. But
and real quick, go ahead, Sam. Sorry, Sam. I want to cut you off there because I want to make sure we talk about. I talked to Cigar Bob, and as you know, Jaha, you mentioned Cigar Bob,
Yes,
And
yes.
I talked to Cigar
Shout
Bob
out
a
to
little
Cigar
bit
Bob.
because this is the story where Phil did claim to room with Cigar Bob during his tournament where he did get the 4th place, and he was the highest ranked American player, blah, blah, blah. And Cigar Bob memory was a little different. He said that he did not room with Phil, but Phil was friendly to him. But this, I'm going to say exact words. Cigar Bob, you said I could say this, so it's cool, I guess. He said at Evo, he was like a pet and would just run around and get me drinks and stuff. I thought it was really nice of him because I was so busy and didn't want to leave my cab with how expensive it all was. So the cab was something that Cigar Bob made himself, and kind of was showing people how to play the arcade, while Phil, again, was working on the console practice to get that 4th place position. And he said, but really he was just trying to get in with who he thought was the most important at that moment. That's what Phil was operating. He thought Cigar Bob was a big person to be with, so I'm going to kind of try to be around him. And that's how he operated at this particular tournament. And I assume probably others. If you were on the community tab of our YouTube channel, you saw that one picture where Vaille's in the room, and there's a few big names in that room, and Phil's just in the back, kind of like, I'm here too, guys. And it's just like,
Exactly.
kind
I'm
of
like,
paints
who the
that
fuck
picture.
let this guy in, dude?
It kind of like paints that picture of like, it seems like he kind of wants to be around the people, yet no, I haven't talked to anyone in these places that kind of said like, yeah, Phil was a part of our crew, because I don't know where they are. You know what I mean? I guess Rambo might have been that, but I don't know.
There's only, I mean, I know the New Yorkers that he knew, but as far as like Connecticut people that he actually like hung out with, I think most was Min. You remember Min from Team Spooky? He's still on Team Spooky now. He used to play with Phil back in the day. I haven't chimed in on any juicy tidbits. Nerd Josh, because he used to be from Connecticut, and the only thing that and Nerd Josh, and I'm forgetting somebody else, but yeah, the only thing that I asked Nerd Josh was just like, hey man, does shout out to Queen of Suffering, because she asked me like, did Phil always waddle? And I'm like, because he always does this fucking thing,
Good
right?
question,
And when he
good
stands
question.
around, and so I had to ask Nerd Josh, like, Nerd Josh, bro, did he used to always do the waddle when he walked back then? He was like, yeah, dude, he always did. It's like,
Oh, he
I
did?
don't know,
Okay.
yeah, he always did. Like, so I don't know what that's about, but yeah, it's funny that they noticed that.
The portly waddle happening.
Yeah, it's like a waddle, man. It's like, yo, something wrong with your feet. You can't stand still or something like that.
Back
But
problem. The new
yeah, but
lores,
cigar.
maybe you caused his back problem. Maybe I think.
No. But Cigar Bob, he's from Arizona. He's like, dude, he's just one of those guys that's just very welcoming, nice to everybody, and he has woodworking skills. So he would make get all the wood, make a cabinet, attach a console to it, and he would throw it in the back of his truck or his van somehow from Arizona, drive it all the way to Vegas, set it up in the room. I mean in the hall. And so yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why probably Phil wanted to befriend him so he could like play on his cabinet, hang out there, and then like maybe some other like good players too want to line up and play on his cabinet, because you got to remember that switch from arcade to console was still very new. We were still just used to playing on cabinets. We weren't used to playing on sticks. They weren't even like really manufactured. Like there was like a Moss stick that was made and a couple of sticks that were made for the fighting games that came out, but it wasn't like they weren't the quality of sticks that came out now ever since '09 when Mad Cats started making TE sticks and tournament sticks. They weren't that. So that's why, people like playing on the cabinet. So that's why he, you know, try to befriend and was like a good little pet. Say, hey, go get me my food, go get me lunch. Just now I'll let you play on my cabinet.
All right, Sam. Next question. Let's go. We got to keep these guys too long.
Yeah. Is Phil a one-hit wonder in terms of fighting games? Have you ever seen him perform well at anything other than Street Fighter 2 Turbo?
He sucks at everything, dude, except for ST. ST, he's solid, but like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, he said he played a lot. Maybe he kept up at that time, but I wouldn't say he's good because that game is still evolved. So he's way behind on that. He wouldn't even touch that game. Third Strike, he's garbage. He doesn't know. He plays Urian and Dudley. He doesn't know any Dudley combos. He picks Urian and picks Tyrant Slaughter, which is just the shoulder charge super. When he has a wall super that fucking has all these unblockable setups and everything, never bothers to learn it. You know what I mean? And Alpha, Dark Souls, all these other games, he's just winging it through. He doesn't know what he's doing. But ST, he does know how to play that game. He knows the characters and the counters. Like he downloaded that game, but
yeah,
I would say he's solid. Like, he's good enough to beat an arcade scrub, but you could see that if he plays somebody else that knows how to play the game and knows what they're doing, he has like the hardest time. Like, and most of the time he'll get his ass kicked.
Would you say that sort of overplaying or just only playing fighting games for an extended period of time would give you a good enough excuse to well, basically why I'm going with this is Phil equated his bad playing of Metal Gear Solid 2 to overplaying fighting games and said, I'm used to double tapping here.
Gosh, that's such a weird fucking excuse, man. That's such a weird excuse, dude.
Is that real? Do you have problems now when you play casual games, Jaha?
Bro, Ben, it doesn't make any sense, bro. You know how we play games and we plink and stuff like that, and we tap when we play on a stick. Yeah. But he tried using an excuse that's why he couldn't figure out how to use a ration, because you got to push the button and hold it down until the cooldown of the ration is complete. And he's like, I can't figure that. Gosh,
Bunkei can't even understand it because it's
fighting
so out
games
there.
have not deprived my skills in other games at all, dude. And I played a lot, dude. That doesn't. If anything, it helps. It should help you with other games,
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's still a game at the end of the day, isn't it?
It's never his fault.
Yeah, that's
now you're learning.
It never is. It's everything else in the world, but it's never him.
Yeah.
I'd like to share one more thing with Bunkei. I forgot to kind of draw this picture for you, Ben. So, like I said, Phil has his 100 fans, right? And we call them deadheads, right? Because they continue to support him no matter what. They never see the light. And as far as the people that dislike Phil or his trolls or detractors or whatever you want to call us, it's in the thousands, right? There's a lot of us. This is actually a big community, and there's different layers to it too. There's some people that are just casual watchers and just laughing at him or watching a train wreck. Some people are a little more serious and, will actually troll him and do stuff to mess with him and get a laugh out of it. And some people are actually out there really trying to end him. And it's like that movie Taken where, they say I have a specific set of skills, this and that. These guys have all these different kinds of skills. So from the guy from the bankruptcy, right? There's another guy that sat there on Bank of America, calling in, accessing his phone account, dialing 4-digit codes until they got his social, got his bank account. And another person, piece of peace, shout out to him. He must be a financial analyst or accountant or a CFO or something, because he got all the bank information, put it into a pie chart, and broke it down. Everything that he spends his money on: alcohol, food deliveries, fucking WWE championships, $3,000 of overhead. And then we got guys shout out to Pigscar Animation, dude, doing CG videos of fucking bringing incidences to life and stuff like that. So it's you got all this whole toolbox of people, man, which I think is really cool as far as all these skills. But this is the the DSP detractor universe in a nutshell, Ben. So I'm trying to catch you up. But
I want to.
I do got to pee right quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
yeah.
Totally cool.
But on note of that, I did hear that there was some drama between Steel Toe and Shinko and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really hope that we just kind of ease off on the button of the heads. I think he shouldn't have called a group of people idiots. I think is what he did. That pissed everybody off. So. And I think what Steel Toe doesn't understand is that he's against people trying to cancel Phil. But even if you cancel Phil and you get him banned off of YouTube, he's a fucking roach, bro. He's gonna fucking pop up somewhere else. He's not. That's not ending him and ending the last for everybody. Phil will just pop up right somewhere else on another fucking platform, and be like, hey, I'm here, but I've been hurt by these fucking trolls. And I need you guys to fucking help me out.
Playbook.
Thousands, So I think that's where his inexperience of the big picture and what you can expect from Phil, where I think he was mistaken.
That's the only thing. That's my problem. I don't get down the Steel Toe rabbit hole. But the only thing that my problem with Steel Toe was not their thinking as much. It was believing Phil even 1%. Right? Phil wants this to happen 100%. I mean, Twitch is waiting for him, and then he gets the comeback stream. Can you imagine that marathon? I'm back on Twitch, guys, and then it'll be $1,000 donated to him that day. It's his never-ending cycle.
Yeah, or when he got the first copyright strikes and he was late for stream. How much did he fucking make that day?
yeah,
made a couple $100.
Yeah, $700 or whatever.
Then that same fucking night, they catch him on WWE Champions, increasing his roster too. You can't make this shit up, bro. How
No.
fucking how?
Yep.
It's all-
Here's a good. Go ahead, Sam.
I was just quickly going to say it's like all an extension of this old guard, new guard thing that's been going on at the moment, and I think there's misinterpretation and people taking it way too seriously, and yeah,
we're all here to have fun and get to talk about what really happened.
You know, I really hope between the steel toe drama, the Kiwi Farmers drama, that we can. I don't know. I like that there's community. And that there are people like helping each other out, people contributing their skill set and stuff like that. You never know, man. We might have like a detractor con one day.
That's what I was thinking about too.
Dude. We'll fucking,
awesome.
There's going to be a UK one as well, like me. It'll just be like me, Steve, and Jad.
And
one or two
on
of
a
us.
plane. You guys on a plane and put Phil or somebody in a dunk tank and fucking make a shit ton of money off that.
Here we go.
I do think about that though.
The con would be incredible. We just need okay, Jaha, you got to be our bodyguard though for sure.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
How about this question though? Before let's move on a little bit because here Bunkei's back here too. So real quick question from Stray Beans: snorting. Did he snort back in the day? Was there something that you noticed because you interact with him in real life?
Gosh,
did Phil
I don't
snort?
fucking know, dude. Hey Ben, remember. Do you remember if when you were doing Alpha-ism radio with Phil, would he always be like fucking snorting all the time?
Oh my god!
There we go.
My God!
I'm sorry, I had to do that deep Tevin one.
Because I would remember something like if he did it like that. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, he did. I don't. In my listening to your show, he did for sure. He did.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Yeah,
I think the snorting is like a new thing. It wasn't
in the footage that I went back and listened to from those.
Yeah.
Must be that Seattle air,
It's so fresh.
That's like we say, like it cured his back, but it gave him breathing problems or whatever this is going on up here.
Oh man, that's a great question. I might have to do some little digging on that too, and ask these old school people, like, hey, you guys remember him fucking snorting, dude, doing fucking deep mic snorts and shit?
Oh god. All right, 2 questions left, Sam. Get to them.
Yeah. Okay. Back in the day, was there any suspicion where Philium got all of his money? Did you personally or guys from the FGC find it surprising that he went bankrupt for maxing out credit cards?
No.
Okay.
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, here's the thing, for working in the financial industry, is that when that bankruptcy hearing, that was gold. That was gold because, I was hoping that people who supported this guy, you guys were, I was in the next room in the bathroom, but I still heard some of what you guys were saying.
Yes.
There's a, when you try to cancel someone like Phil, that almost has the opposite effect because then you're playing into his hand because he's saying, so like the Trump syndrome, they're after me. They want me to speak the truth. They're trying to. So if you cancel him, you actually play in. It's to his benefit, And for me, I'm not surprised at all that based on me working in the financial industry is that he has no restraint, no sense of restraint. But he has no sense of restraint when he speaks to people. So why would it not be surprising that he doesn't have a restraint in his own personal life with his personal finances? To me, it kind of goes hand in hand. I don't judge people, obviously, but I can tell when I sit down with a client, even before I pull them up on the computer, I can tell usually, about an 80% accuracy, how they are with their finances based on how they talk.
Hey, how far are you from Renton, bro?
Not far. Why?
You should invite Phil over to your bank for a little.
So during the Alpha-ism radio show, he was on the East Coast. You were at SeaTac at the time, and then some years ago he moved to Renton. So now he lives in Renton, where you're at.
Don't tell me that. Oh, damn. Well, let me say that my address is
he wouldn't.
His address. Want his address?
I mean, if anything, though, if he lives in Washington State, God bless his soul. Because you know what, living here is literally in Seattle has went from 8th to 2nd on the most expensive places to live in the United States.
Ben, what's important?
A sugar mama of some sort.
Some kind of sugar mama.
Not going to survive here. You know,
Hey,
unless
Ben, you got to answer this to me though. How difficult is it for you to take out your trash and
Yeah.
recycle and deal with like a garbage company coming to pick up your trash on
How
time?
long does
How
it
is
take you to
that? How
recover?
how difficult is that over
I
there?
mean, I had to go to counseling for it because it really was quite hard on the noggin to do these things. And like I said, after I talked to my therapist, he agreed that I should continue taking out the trash and going
Okay. Makes
for the
sense.
betterment of my soul.
But we heard that you're not allowed to throw food in the garbage anymore. It has to go
Yeah.
down your sink,
Yep.
or what's the other
That's
option?
true. That is true because they have blue and they have green bins.
Okay.
In the blue bins, you can only put recycling. By the way, this is like funny stuff. So a straw is not recyclable.
Okay.
Throw a straw in there, you got some problems.
Maybe
Okay,
his
so
stuff.
if you have a
And
lot
then
of
in the
food
green, you can
waste,
put yard
what are
waste.
you doing with a lot of food waste? If you have
Yeah.
a
What do you
lot,
do?
like, are
Yeah.
you just literally throwing
So
like gallons of food down your sink until it
no, no. I mean,
clogs?
they actually now here's what they did. So for the normal trash, they give you a very small bucket. It's like a bucket. It's not a full canister that used to seeing on. That's how they force you into recycling. So
Oh.
now they have the green bin is for compost. That's where you're supposed to put all of your food remains and all of that, into. And it's
And it's
it's
enough
really
for two people,
bizarre.
right? It's enough
Yeah.
for two people, right? Like if it's
Yeah,
two people,
but in the house I'm living in, there was once 4 people living here. My God,
Okay.
man, we
This
was
is the
like, man,
stuff you
one
came
person
here
is
for,
not
wasn't
The
it,
enough.
chat?
trash lore. The trash lore of
One
trash.
person is
I
not
need to
enough.
confirm the trash lord, man.
Man,
Like,
listen, my best friend who owns this house. She has a good rapport with the neighbors, so she started using the neighbors
Oh.
recycling, recycling and the compost because we fill ours in like 4 days.
so garbage is a challenge there. Okay,
Yes. Makes
I'm glad
sense.
we.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to detract,
No.
but
No.
I
No.
needed to know about the trash lore.
But
All right.
Bunkei, what you just said there about say the straw thing, that would be half an hour on a DSP stream explaining
Oh my God.
to
Yes. Half
you
an
know.
hour easily. Let me tell you what
Mhm.
straws are. Well, first we got to
Yeah.
start with drinks are. The drinks are liquid. Now, if you don't know what liquid is, there's 3 types of matter: liquid, solid, and gas. This is one of them. It's called liquid. You use a straw, thin, long, has a hole in the middle, right? Then you put that inside the drink. You don't blow it out. If you blow out, bubbles come out. The bubbles are
Yeah.
only if we get 100 likes. So you suck
Yeah.
it instead. I'm done.
And then
I'm done.
for some
Bro, we
reason
call-
he'd work in the FGC history as well, just
Oh,
just
yeah,
as a
yeah.
side note.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I
Right,
ask you
last,
guys-
go ahead.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Because it's something that you guys mentioned earlier. I want to kind of change the tone a little bit. Is that Jaha was mentioning about how people have left the community after Street Fighter 4. A lot of there is a sizable amount of community that did not like Street Fighter 4, and of course we know the train wreck that Street Fighter 5 was when it first was released. I have to say that I have never been more excited by a Capcom product than Street Fighter 6.
Oh, that's good. Jaha, you in the same camp?
It looks
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
learned from all the mistakes they've made with 4 and 5. This game is turning out. I am wondering if this game will turn out to be the revival of bringing back the old Street Fighter heads, because the game to me seems like a successor more to Third Strike than it is to Street Fighter 5. Now you have multiple selectable supers and so forth and so on, and Perry is back, and I feel like that they really make the game where the game is all about you managing your resources, and the decisions you make, mindless offense or defense, will get you killed. And I'm like, this has to be like a dream scenario for a lot of the old heads who really value the times. It's like Third Strike, something that's very technical, something that really requires you to think about the decisions, not the decisions you're making now, but what you're making 2 or 3 moves from now. It looks like that they're bringing that back out for Street Fighter 6, and I'm wondering what you guys are thinking, how this is going to shape up as we head into 2023.
I think Street Fighter 6 is exciting because it's a breath of fresh air, because all the games that are coming out now, they just kind of seem like the same thing. The 2D Guilty Gear style type of game, right? Strive, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, Dungeon Fighter Duels. Um, they're all these multi-blood, Guilty Gear 2D anime type of games, and King of Fighters also, right? Like they're all kind of like the same. And Street Fighter 6 looks like it's a breath of fresh air. I think it'll bring on a lot of new players. Um, if it's good enough to bring old players out of retirement, I'm yet to see, because that's just one of the things I just miss about older FGC. It's not really the game, Oh, Third Strike was just so good. I mean, it's the people that played too, and like the memories you made, and I'll be honest with you guys, like Watson, all these guys. These guys are like lifelong friends. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't see these guys for like 10 years. And I saw them one weekend out in California, and we're sitting around playing games, talking shit. And it's like nothing ever changed. So it's those type of bonds and relationships that, we created and that we value. And it's just one of those things that just Phil doesn't have. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have anybody around him that I don't know. It's fucking lonely, man. It's lonely, sad, and he always says he puts on his claim. I got to take care of my family. You don't get to say that. You don't get to say that, bro. You married a chick that cheated on her boyfriend, comes from a dysfunctional family. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. And you moved her into your house, and she's your wife, and you have a cat that you had adopted. That's not like, but he likes to claim, the pride of a man, that I'm a real man. I take care of my family. I protect my family. I provide. You're not doing, no. It's just a wife that like you moved in that can divorce you or whatever. And and then you have a cat. That's not the same thing as like starting your own legacy. A legacy in his mind, because he already came to the point that he's never going to have kids. The legacy in his mind is that I got thousands of YouTube videos on the internet, and people are gonna watch it forever and remember me and all this. Like, no, it's not. It's not gonna be like that. But I don't know. This is where his delusion kind of kicks in, like his that gives himself his false sense of pride, because he really doesn't have any of that.
That's the sad thing.
It's
right?
It is a sad life that he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anybody, and when we're gone, and this goes for all the parents out there, when we're gone, all we have left is how you are remembered, how you showed up, like as a dad, how you showed up as a mom, everything that you did, or how you showed up to your friends. They're going to remember you and talk about you and all this stuff. But I don't know what good memories Phil's going to be leaving behind, other than like us laughing at him. You know what
And
I
even
mean?
before you take the parent thing into it, like think about your guys' memories of the FGC, right? Bunkei, that legacy of a radio show that you built up over years of talking to people over that. That, like, even though that might not be as remembered, it's something that's special for the community, and the old guys that remember it, the old people, members of the community that say like, "Wow, Bunkei was a legend for doing that for us." You know what I mean? And that's a memory that you'll have forever, Bunkei.
Right.
People remember that's a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real legacy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Jaha, like you said, the friendships you make.
I had so much fun doing that. And the thing about it though is that there are so many firsts on that show. There's a lot of people that I've got to interview that now have shows that have way, 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 I do mean way more times listeners than I ever had. And we also covered a lot of great events. Again, the 2006 Evo was the first, but I remember when STHD Remix was announced. I remember when GGPO first came out. I also remembered when Street Fighter 4 was announced. And I remember that, and that was great. And I mean, and one of my
You know what I remember about that Evo that you covered, bro?
What?
That everybody was at home on IRC watching this Evo, right? And and so all the mods and everybody's at Evo, so everybody's gone. And Triforce, right? Somebody catfished him and got his dick pics, right?
Oh wow.
And posted it all over SRK, right?
Wow.
And there was no mods for like half a week, because they were all at Evo. They were all busy. And he's like, "What the fuck? Get this shit down." Listen, there was no mods. That was that year, right, man?
Triforce is definitely. Oh, Jaha. Okay, you guys, I'm giving you some comedy gold right now.
Go ahead.
So, Jaha has made a diss track
Oh,
way
okay.
back in the day on Triforce. That was great, man. I swear, when next time you guys have me on this, I'll pull it up. I still have it buried somewhere.
Awesome.
Jaha has a diss track, and I mean that was literally that's one of my favorite memories. My top 5 memories of Alphas and Radio was Jaha diss track.
I'm getting a request to ask you about Bowl of Soul. I have to ask you
Yes! Oh
about.
my god!
What is
Triforce, man.
what is the Bowl of Soul?
Triforce is, what the thing about it though is that I give Triforce credit because you know what? Yeah, he was out there, but at least for him, he made a business out of it. Now you can argue that the business may not have been successful as you might expect it to be, but I give the man props. He took something that he understood that that you have to have some type of notoriety. You have to be different than the rest. So the glove. So he wore the Triforce glove, and everyone made fun of it, but it kept his name in people's mouths. And he took that and he made a business out of it. And you can say whatever you made, but he actually had Justin Wong. Justin Wong was once Empire.
Oh.
As far as I know, Sanford is still Empire. He can still go to EMP Sanford. I mean, so arguably the 2 best USG fighting game players. So I mean, like I said, then this is somebody who actually took something. Yeah, he's out there, and yes, I remember the Bowl Soul, and I had some great interviews back with him. But at least he took something and was productive with it.
That is cool. But Jaha, I'm gonna have to clarification. The Bowl of Soul is still the facts are not out yet. Oh, we have the diss track.
You gotta tell me what the Bowl of Soul is, man.
What's
I
the
don't
Bowl
know.
of Soul?
We're in 2022, man. Is this safe?
Story because this is you gotta guys remember.
I'm gonna use the bathroom. Excuse me.
15 years ago, man. I'm like, okay.
I have the diss track in my computer right now. I has had it messaged to me. So Sam, I'm gonna ask you to decide if we should play this or not.
Dude,
we should play it on the outro. Yeah,
wait till
sure.
he gets back because he needs to hear this. Because I mean, like I said, the other guys have to understand it. This is 15, 16 years ago, and so my memory is not exactly 100% back on that time. But the Bowl see, man, Triforce has some very interesting. How can I put this, man? He has some very interesting escapades about the women that he's been with. And
I'm
just gonna leave it there because
let's stop talking about so much.
I'm gonna leave it there. I'm just saying that the Bowl of Soul. I wish I could point you guys to an episode. I mean, by the way, I just want to mention I want to answer a question. I know someone out there. People are like, where in the world is all the Alphas and Radio episodes? There are some here and there.
Yeah.
I actually had to take most of it down.
Yes.
Not because it was like copyright or anything like that. It's because that Office and Radio was like the Howard Stern. It was unfiltered. And people were going to try to use that to cancel people that have started their own thing nowadays. And there's one particular case who I will not name the person who was on the show, and we shot the breeze. We all say some crazy shit.
Yeah.
On the radio. But then they try to take that and try to say that this is how he really is and everything. I'm like, no, it's tongue in cheek. And so that's the reason, unfortunately, why I had to take a lot of it down, because a lot of the people that are on the show now got their own gig. And some of the stuff they said was crazy, was out there, and I don't want that to be used.
You could stuff like that can cancel culture would bring it back up. I mean, we even had dudes like, "Hey man, I'm about to dig out this chick, dude. Here we go." And I remember Dwayne did that right on the show. Yeah.
What a show!
We was hearing the sounds.
What a time! What a time!
It was pretty raw. It was pretty raw. Sorry, that's why I'm trying to protect people's sponsorships and jobs and stuff that they have now.
Let's get to our last question. Let's get to our last question here from both people. I'll start with Jaha first. Was there ever a time that you thought Phil was an okay guy? This is from Nothing I Could Do. And I want to know, back in the day, was there ever a time when you said, you know what, he's a normal dude, I don't have anything negative feelings towards him, or was every single interaction just he came out negative?
Every single interaction was just his shit talking catching back up to him. You know, whether it was on the forums, whether it was to Watson, whether it was to Shady K, aka Long. It was always just shit talking coming back to because that's what he would do. He just go back to his cave for the rest of the year, talk shit on the forums, this and that, show up at Evo, and time to pay the piper. It was no, I I can't. Yeah, but at the same time, I wasn't at the East Coast tournaments or anything like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he must have been just as arrogant or annoying over there too,
All right, so
because he was disliked over there too.
yeah, that's what we learned for a lot of people that it seemed like he had no one in his corner, apparently except for Rambo and Howard, even though that has ran its course as well. Bunkey, how about you? You had him on your show a few times. Did you think he was a nice guy at any point? I mean, was he just like a dude that called in? You liked it for the content? What were your thoughts there?
Again, when I met him, no, I never thought of him as a nice guy. I just thought of him as a good Street Fighter player that was desperate for attention, and and he so in order to get that attention, he'll say outlandish things, and that's how he got attention. And it is interesting that when that attention gets in his face, he cries,
Yeah.
and and I'm actually in a way, Jaha, you might have saved this dude's life. You know why I say that? It's because sometimes people just think that they're invincible until they're not. And sometimes that lesson is a final lesson where you can't learn from that lesson. Sometimes you need sometimes to have the shit skirt out of you to realize that, hey, there are real life consequences to what you do. And and even though that obviously now he's not, he hasn't like turned a new leaf or anything like that, but sometimes things can happen very slowly, and sometimes it may not be the way that we want it. But I would say that you might have done this dude a favor, because I'm not sure, had you not done that to him, he might even gotten even more bolder, and who knows what consequences that might have brought.
I don't know if he could have messed with a worse pair in FGC than like me and Watson, but
Yeah.
yeah, we did scare the shit out of him for a while, and but I think it's been uh, about a good decade and some change, and he kind of got his condo bravery because dude, he never leaves the house. Who's gonna say anything to him? And even chatting back, that's one of the socially weird things about Phil is that if you go look up like DSP getting trolled, and then they'll be like, "Look at my skeletons, bitch," and this guy's like
Yeah.
trolling him, "Fuck your girlfriend, fuck your daughter," all this shit. Like he doesn't know what to say. Like when he receives this stuff, whether it's in a chat, whether it's verbal, whether it's like he just doesn't know what to do. He just like he squirms, like
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Just laugh it off. Ha ha ha. It's like that's definitely one of the social nuances I noticed about him. Real quick, I know we're about to cut it loose and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just wanted to shout out to all the content creators out there putting in, doing God's work. Peace, peace, Chill Murray, Duty Streams, Snort Burnell, Snort Hogan. Love all you guys, man. And let's let's keep the unity together, man. Let's keep the
Yep.
unity, keep talking to each other, helping each other out and stuff like that. And everybody's implementing their skill set and stuff, which I appreciate. And it's a lot of good things I like to say about this community. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's that's a good note to close on. It's like, as you can see, no matter what Phil says about us, we are all here talking, having a good time, different opinions shared. Not everyone agrees with what everyone says, but that's totally cool. We're not crazy. We don't need the white coats after us. We're having a good time talking about things that happened in the past that someone now claims is much different than the truth. That's the only thing we're here to do, is to get the truth out there. And I hope we did that well for all the people in chat out there. But we definitely could not do that without the help of, first of all, Bunkei, thanks so much, my friend, for your time. That was really awesome to come on the show.
Thanks, Ben.
I know you never heard of this. You're not in the DSP world, but you still joined us, and you shared a lot of awesome stuff. So thanks, my friend.
No problem, sir. Thank you for having me.
Is there anything you want to? I put your Twitter on there. It doesn't seem like you're so active, but anything you want to pimp out here? It's totally your space to do so if you do.
No, I mean, the one idea I do have floating in my head. I thought about doing the Alpha Radio revival in anticipation of Street Fighter 6.
Mm-hmm.
Because cool. I have high hopes for that game. I hope it meets it. And so you might, if you want to learn more, then of course, follow me on Twitter. Nothing concrete because the game's not out for another year, but that's something that I'm thinking about doing.
Awesome. Yeah, your link to his Twitter is down below. You can definitely follow him. And really, I want to give you, again, I don't want to let that point go known. A lot of people back in the day, when someone says someone's homophobe and someone's like gay, it's so easy to jump on that bandwagon. But you were strong even back then, man. That's a lot of respect for you on that one. You said, what does it matter what he is? Which your exact response to DSP. And that's back in the day. That's really cool thing, man.
We could get you worked up, Ben, and get you to go out to Renton. We're like, hey, you called me a bitch. You said you were gonna fuck me up right here, boy.
All right, but next up, the legend Jaha. Respect is the word that comes to mind the most when I talk about the Jaha and to Jaha. You just always helpful, always nice, and you always are willing to give us a helping hand. So Jaha, you're a legend. And anything you want to share with us, where to find you, your Twitter's down below. But anything else you want to share, now's your time.
No, I just want to say thank you guys for having me on. Sorry that I didn't recall all this stuff, dude. Like I'm telling you, I was fucking a rabid, fucking wild dog back then. I'm telling you, man. You know, guys would talk shit, and I'll just, you know, oh, you want to talk shit? I'll fucking take your ass in the golf course and throw you in a pool, you know, or something like that. So, you know, I was wild. Or you talk shit, you're gonna get it in real life. You know, I forgot that I was like that, so I had to recall and you know, did some digging, got some verification from some witnesses, and everything we're saying here is factual. I got receipts, I got witnesses, so you know, just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. But no, thank you guys for having me on. Love all you guys, man.
Awesome.
Excellent.
All right, Sam, you are going to close us out. You got the big button, and we do have Jaha's diss track. Are you going to play that for the outro, Sam?
If that's okay with Jaha, yeah.
Jaha,
it's totally fine with me. Totally fine with me.
Cool,
Ben wants to hear. Look at Ben.
Stay tuned for the outro of Jaha's diss track. It's coming up.
Oh my God.
Yep. You guys are all legends. Thanks so much, members and people that super chat. You guys are all legends. We'll have to do call outs today, but you guys are all legends. And most important legends today that were Jaha and Bunkei. Thanks so much, guys, for your time, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Woo! It's Jaha, aka Naha, Dipset, bitch. Yeah. You say you a gamester, but you never played nothing. We say you a fakester, and you need to stop frontin'. You go to the tournament, but you never played nothing. You been gloving for a long time, and you ain't got nothing. Damn, homie. Why you thinking you the man, homie? Take a look at you, you just a bottom feeder, a motherfucking cheerleader. Don't know about Marvel, don't know about me to think it's bullshit. I have to bring in my fucking sand. Fly and stomp your head all up in the cement. You know it's evil, bruh, don't bring your glove out. I waste my last bar just to snap your ass out. You say you a gamester, but you never play nothing. We say you a fakester, and you need to stop frontin'. You go to the tournament, but you never play nothing. You been gloving for a long time, and you ain't got nothing. You ain't no gamer, you ain't no player. You're just a flamer. Obviously, you just a fakester. You're just a wankster with a power glove on MTV. This shit's corny, babe. Counting you is too easy. You get smoked in the real game for motherfucking free. I have to guard crush you, cause you know I got to shoot you with the gun the size of Harry Potter. You say you a gamester, but you never play nothing. We say you a fakester, and you need to stop frontin'. You go to the tournament, but you never play nothing. You been gloving for a long time, and you ain't got nothing. Yeah. Who the fuck wears a power glove in public?